Promise me you'll marry me in the future, okay? These were the words a childhood friend said to me when we were in elementary school. Even now, as an adult, I vividly remember her words. We became a couple in high school, but eventually broke up after a fight. Despite that, I've spent 20 years unable to forget my ex-girlfriend. And somehow, I found myself reuniting with her, as if by a miracle. My name is Michael. I'm a long-haul truck driver. I travel all across the country, delivering goods, sometimes not returning home for 2 weeks. After graduating high school, I continued this irregular job, often sleeping in my truck. Before I knew it, I reached this age where more and more of my school friends and colleagues are getting married. After a long drive, when I finally meet my colleagues, they often ask, "Aren't you going to get married?" I'd like to, but well, I reply with a wry smile. Then, a colleague would look concerned and ask, "What's up? Is something wrong?" "No, it's nothing. Don't worry about it." I responded that way to my colleague and climbed back into my truck. Even to a close colleague, I couldn't share my troubles with love. I do want to get married, but there's someone I can't forget, even after all these years. That person is my ex-girlfriend from when I was a sophomore in high school. It's been 20 years since Ashley and I broke up in high school, and we haven't seen each other since. I know that wishing to marry Ashley, despite everything, is futile. Besides, being hung up on an ex-girlfriend from high school for 20 years would probably make me the butt of jokes among my colleagues. I understand that marrying Ashley is impossible. Yet, whenever I hear the word marriage, I can't help but think of Ashley. Even 20 years after we broke up, I'm still unable to move on due to my lingering feelings for Ashley. Ashley was a childhood friend from elementary school. Our houses were close, and our parents were good friends. After school, we would play together or do homework every day. Meeting up after school or during holidays was a given. Visiting each other's homes and playing was a normal part of our daily lives. Ashley felt like more than a friend. There was a deeper connection. It was in the spring when Ashley and I were in the 3rd grade. Ashley's older cousin got married. Ashley showed me photos of the wedding, with her cousin in a pure white wedding dress. The photos captured a magical world, enchanting me. As I was mesmerized by the photos, Ashley shyly said, "Promise me you'll marry me in the future, okay?" I involuntarily swallowed at Ashley's words. Just imagining Ashley in a beautiful wedding dress made my heart race. Surprised and nervous, I couldn't find the words to respond. After that, our days continued with after-school activities and homework. I believed we would always spend our days together, even in the distant future. But then, a tragic event disrupted our peaceful lives. In our 5th year of elementary school, Ashley's father died in a traffic accident. Following that, Ashley and her mother became withdrawn. I tried to cheer her up, suggesting, "Hey, let's play together today." But she simply replied, "I can't today," turning me down. I wondered to myself, why won't Ashley play with me, and felt down all alone. Then, my mom explained, Ashley is grieving the loss of her father, who was the pillar of their family. Give her some space for now. That makes sense. Ashley's father was incredibly kind and reliable, truly living up to being the family's pillar. At the sports festival, it was Ashley's father who took the lead in preparing the lunch and setting up the camera. Given that such a father was suddenly gone, it's understandable that Ashley would be filled with anxiety. Every time we saw each other at school, I continued to be considerate of Ashley. "I'm sorry for asking you to play the other day. I didn't realize you were feeling down." When I did, Ashley smiled and said, "It's okay, it's tough right now, but let's play together again once I feel better." Though I didn't see Ashley every day anymore, I made sure to be available to hang out during breaks, on her terms. Every time we met during breaks, I kept asking her, "Are you okay? have you been well? Ashley always showed me a smile and said, yeah, I'm fine, but I noticed something. There were times when her smile was genuine and times when it was forced. The loss of her father meant healing the emotional wounds wouldn't be easy. Quietly, I sensed this just by looking at her expressions. Eventually, Ashley and I attended the same middle and high school. Waiting for the right moment when Ashley's feelings had settled, I told her that I liked her in our sophomore year of high school. She was a significant presence in my life, whom I had loved from afar for years and watched go through hard times after her father's passing. When Ashley and I started dating, I was overjoyed, feeling like I was on top of the world. Ashley laughed happily, saying, I never imagined I would actually date Michael. Me neither. It feels like a dream to be dating you, I replied with a smile. Our relationship started off smoothly, but then another event came that would affect us both. Around the same time Ashley and I started dating, her mother remarried. I heard the new husband was someone from her mother's workplace. He had been supporting her mother since her husband's death. It felt like he was in a similar situation to me, encouraging Ashley when she was down. I thought to myself, both Ashley and her mother must have been equally saddened by her father's death. If they found someone to rely on and could be happy, that was what mattered. Above all, as Ashley's boyfriend, I was there to accept all her hardships. I strongly wanted to cherish her even more from now on. However, it seemed that Ashley's mother's new husband had quite different views from mine. Tom, the new husband of Ashley's mother, loved gambling and drinking. He quit his job soon after the marriage and spent his days gambling. He started demanding money for gambling from Ashley's mother, who had become a housewife after the marriage. If she didn't give him money, he would become moody, throw things, and yell. Because of this, Ashley's living situation deteriorated rapidly. When I met Ashley during the spring break of our sophomore year in high school, she looked emaciated. Even when I asked, "Are you okay?" she just looked down. Then, raising her face, Ashley suddenly glared at me and quietly started to complain. "Hey, why don't you spend more time with me? Why do we always meet at the same cafe?" I was puzzled by her unexpected words. "But isn't it better to prioritize studying for exams right now? Plus, we're students. We don't have much money," I explained. Immediately, she began to vent her long-held frustrations, getting angry. "It's always we're students. We don't have money excuses. How long do I have to keep adjusting to you, who has no ambition?" Hearing Ashley's words, I was certain. I had many immature aspects in romance, and it was hard to perfectly understand her feelings. I prioritized studying for exams because I wanted to make her happy in the future. To be honest, I'm just a healthy teenage boy going for puberty. There are many things I'm holding back on, all while thinking it's for the future with Ashley, so I'm restraining myself. She was my first in everything. Because she is so important to me, I thought I didn't want to cause her any more pain. "I didn't realize I was making you hold back so much. Staying with me will only make you unhappy. Let's break up for both of our sakes." For me, this was a major decision. Ashley, crying, angrily asked, "Why are you abandoning me like this?" And so, we ended up breaking up and moved on to our senior year of high school, separated. But she was no longer at school. Worried, I went to her house, but it seemed like no one was there. We had just broken up during the spring break a few days earlier. I had no idea where she had disappeared to. "Hey, have you heard the rumor about your ex-girlfriend?" That's what a friend told me, sharing this story. Apparently, her mom's new husband gambled away all their money, and then, it seems they fled to her mom's family home. Hearing this from my friend made me worry about her. But her cell phone and home phone were unreachable. And of course, I had no idea where her mom's family home was, neither its address nor phone number. I deeply regretted our breakup, but it was too late for regrets. After graduating high school with a heavy heart, I threw myself into my current job. One day, a colleague invited me out for drinks for the first time in years. I don't usually go out drinking, but this time, I made an exception for my colleague's birthday celebration. It was a Friday, and the downtown area was bustling with people. Suddenly, I noticed a woman, shivering like a puppy, holding a menu at a bar. Despite it being November, she was trembling in just a short-sleeved shirt. I thought she seemed to be in trouble, and I took a closer look at the woman, only to realize she was my ex-girlfriend from 20 years ago. The moment I recognized her, I rushed over to her without looking away. My colleagues, wondering what was going on, followed me, asking, "What's up?" Ashley, right. Long time no see." My voice trembled, thinking it might be a mistake. She widened her eyes and said, "Michael, really? You know her? Let's not stand around talking. Let's go into this bar." Cheerfully, my colleagues headed into the bar where she worked. We rode the elevator in silence, feeling awkward until we were seated. Poking fun at me, my colleagues asked, "So, what's the deal with her? Just an acquaintance, or something more?" They laughed. In a quiet voice, contrary to my colleagues' teasing, I said, "She's an ex-girlfriend from 20 years ago." At that moment, my colleagues froze. "What? 20 years ago? How old were you then?" "Now it's awkward for us too. You should have said something before we entered. You guys were the ones who rushed in before I could explain." As I was exasperated with my colleagues, Ashley came over to take our order. "Have you decided on your order?" In a flurry, one colleague said, "Then, let's have one beef burger set. I'll have a pint and beef stew." This guy will have the beef burger set and a cocktail. He ordered for me as well. There's no need to decide for me. "Well, we feel more awkward about it," my colleagues admitted. Ashley chuckled and said, "It's all in the past, don't worry about it." And after taking our order, she came back to our table. "Today's a Friday, but it's quieter than usual, so consider this special." Then, Ashley shared the reasons behind our breakup and why we hadn't seen each other for 20 years. Indeed, it was just as my friend had said. Her mom's new husband, an unemployed gambler, demanded money from her mom daily. Eventually, when her mom's savings ran out, she had been saying this to Ashley for a while. "Someday, while he's asleep, let's run away." It seems they were secretly packing their belongings to escape from her stepfather. "Breaking up with you was becoming inevitable, and it truly hurt. I wished you would hate me, so I said terrible things." She confessed, tears streaming down her face, as I silently hugged her. My colleagues, surprised yet listening intently, stayed quiet. "If breaking up was hard for you, you should have just told me that." But I couldn't be honest about my feelings. I couldn't leave my mom behind either. I was still a child, unable to make proper decisions. "I'm sorry for saying things that hurt you," she replied. From that day, we began seeing each other again. Back then, I couldn't stand up to him because he was taking all the money, and I wanted to help my crying mom. Choosing between my boyfriend and my parent was an ultimate decision for me. She said with a bitter smile, "Is your mom okay now?" "Yeah, it took time, but things have finally settled down recently." "Then, let's prioritize our time together from now on. You've put your parents first until now. It's time to reclaim the time lost as a couple." She was shocked. "After 20 years, getting back together, are you sure about me? For 20 years, there hasn't been a single day I haven't thought about you. I honestly didn't think I could ever find someone I loved as much. Will you date me again?" She nodded silently, tears flowing. After overcoming 20 years, we restarted our relationship. This time, I hope to cherish her, considering marriage. Until now, we've both prioritized our families and careers for a long time. That's why I'm hoping we can start to prioritize our time together more. The fact that the marriage I had almost given up on with my girlfriend is now drawing closer brings me immense joy. Even after we parted ways, I couldn't let go, and I'm still working hard today with the goal of marrying her in mind.